I'm back, I'm Brickard, and this is Super Speed Super Metroid. At the end of the previous video, I explained how to get into Lower Norfair without the space jump. I also talked a little about how I don't like it when the game locks stuff up behind arbitrary barriers like metal doors. Well, right here at the beginning of Lower Norfair is an arbitrary barrier no normal player would ever notice. The next room is a lake of lava with a Chozo statue at the far end. Roll up into the Chozo's hands and the lava drains away, allowing you to continue. What you don't know is that the statue silently checks to see if you have the space jump. If you don't have it, the lava doesn't drain, and just in case you're thinking you can tough it out through the heat, there's a block in the floor that doesn't clear until the draining process is complete. This path leads to the golden Teresa, who guards the screw attack. No space jump, no screw attack, it's just that simple. Actually, that's a lie. You can exploit a glitch to come get the screw attack from the other direction and avoid the golden Teresa altogether. But come on, where's the fun in that? The golden Teresa starts out near the upper right corner of this room. You can use a power bomb to clear some blocks away up there, revealing a super missile pickup. This pickup is unique because since you can grab it while the golden Teresa is busy with his spawning routine, it takes 0 seconds to obtain. Every other item in the game is at least 1 second out of your way, but these supers are free. Speaking of super missiles, you don't want to use them against the golden Teresa. It's got this nasty trick where it'll quite literally snatch your super missile out of the air and hurl it back at you. You don't want to waste the supers here anyway. Ridley's right around the corner and there's no convenient place to refill between here and there. Another semi-famous fact is that Samus's fully charged Ice Wave Plasma Beam is more powerful than a super missile shot for shot. Supers are still better, of course, because of their superior rate of fire. Regular missiles have an even faster rate of fire, but do so little damage that they'll never outpace charged plasma. If your boss strategy all these years has been to deplete all your hundreds of regular missiles before resorting to charged shots, you've been doing it the hard way. The screw attack, of course, is Samus's most iconic ability. It lets her destroy monsters in most breakable walls simply by spin jumping into them. My entire Ridley strategy relies on this one item, so even in a pure speedrun, it's worth taking. There are two kinds of shutters, blue ones and green ones. The blue ones are open with Samus's regular shot, and once you have the wave beam you can open them from the opposite side. The green ones require supers, and since supers don't travel through solid objects, are essentially one-way gates. There is a glitch that lets you open a green gate from the wrong side if you're approaching it from the right, and that's the glitch you'd have to learn if you wanted to get the screw attack without fighting the golden Teresa. With the space jump and screw attack, I'm pretty much just blowing through this level, but as you can imagine, if you skip those items, Lower Norfair becomes an excruciating gauntlet unlike anything else in the game. Every move is methodical and deliberate. Every space pirate has to be approached as a serious threat. It's really not for the faint of heart, and of course it's all cheesecake compared to the end cap against the man himself. Once again, the obvious path is the incorrect one, and if you were to follow it all the way to the end, you get dumped through a one-way passage in some other far-off region of Norfair. By this stage in the game, though, your Metroid sense should be spit-shine to a fine sparkle, and you should be in the habit of X-raying every room looking for passages. If not, you deserve to have to circle around the long way to get back to where you left off. The other incredibly insane thing people will do is what's called a suitless or reverse boss order run. Suitless because they'll fight through Lower Norfair with neither the Varian nor Gravity suit. Reverse boss means instead of killing Kraid, Phantoon, Dragon, Ridley in that order, they kill Ridley first and work their way backwards. Yes, this means using a sickeningly convoluted combination of glitches just to get to Dragon and back with no Gravity suit. Even worse, it means fighting through the entirety of Lower Norfair and the Ridley fight while combating a constant energy drain. There's another quasi-sub-boss you have to take out before reaching Ridley, a pair of elite space pirates who wear silver armor and are immune to absolutely everything in Samus's arsenal, including the screw attack. You can end up wasting a lot of energy and missiles learning this fight, but there is a trick. If you stay near the pirates, they'll continuously use their projectile attacks at you. From a certain distance, though, you can bait them into using a jump kick attack. They've got to drop their armor for a few seconds when they kick at you, so you have a short window of time to fill them with charged plasma. Repeat this process for the second pirate and it's all gravy. Fortunately, the metal door stays open after you've cleared them, so you don't have to repeat the fight on your way back out. Okay, so, Ridley. If you were to consider every boss from every 2D platformer ever created, I'm betting Ridley has been studied, scrutinized, and practiced more than any other. The battle against Ridley is epic, and not in the 4chan sense of the word epic. There's a goddamn reason virtually every Metroid game to come has tried to rebottle this lightning. Ridley is fast and he's mean, and he only gets faster and meaner as he sustains damage. His tail is vicious and he's capable of knocking Samus straight out of a screw attack. His projectiles explode on contact with solid surfaces. The shape of the room means Ridley spends a great deal of the fight hidden out of view, and oh yeah, the entire thing takes place over a boiling pit of acid. Ridley can eat 30 super missiles before dying, but good luck connecting with all of them unless your aim is perfect. Depleting his hit points doesn't even kill him, it just pisses him off. Once you've got him down to 0 hit points and he's that lovely shade of bright red while whipping his tail around at warp speed, you can either nail him with a few more shots of whatever you have on hand to end the fight, or you can jump up and let him grab you. Speedrunners will keep track of the damage they do over the fight so they know when they can go for the grab. It's a little faster than dragging the battle out needlessly. I don't have a strategy in the Ridley fight. I like to just show up with 500 energy and do everything in my power to stay in a screw attack and well away from his tail for as long as possible. Again, charged plasma does the most damage, but super missiles get you the best bang for your buck. All that is moot in the craziest low percent runs, however. Imagine showing up to this fight with nothing but 3 energy tanks, 10 super missiles, and just your standard charge beam. A guy named Kajardan pioneered that fight, and the sheer amount of analysis that went into Ridley's tactics and how to counter them would crush any lesser gamer. Ridley gets his props on almost every Metroid game, but Super is very much his baseline. Fusion has an X-Parasite version of Ridley, Prime has a cybernetic version, Zero Mission has 2 Ridleys. First Samus kills the classic space dragon we all know and love, then she has to kill a robot version who pops up as the last boss. Ridley is so indisputably awesome that he even appears as 2 of the 10 bosses in Smash Bros. Brawl, and that's not even a Metroid game. No matter where he pops up though, he's never quite on his A game the way he is in Super Metroid. I've been playing Super Metroid for over a decade, and to this day nothing causes my adrenaline to spike quite like rolling into Ridley's room, laying that first power bomb just as he opens his beady little yellow eye. Absolutely a phenomenal fight. Back in the game, there's not much left to see. All the bosses are dead and there are no items left to collect. All that's left to do is head into the final area and roll the credits. The path out of Lower Norfair does contain a couple of item pickups, but at this point in the game, the only reason you want them is for the sake of completion. The save point nearest to the entrance to the last level just happens to be Samus' gunship, which is convenient because that's also the only place to get a refill on super missiles. The last of the game's 14 energy tanks is hidden here in this dark room, specifically down in the spike-filled pit in the bottom. If I'm going for speed and don't have the extra 3 tanks I picked up in Brinstar, I'll usually assess my energy supply before going down to Ridley, and if I find it wanting, I'll pick that tank up as a safety precaution. I called that room a dark room, and that's one of the game mechanics that isn't used too often. The lighting levels in that room are caused by little light bulb bugs that fly around near where the energy tank is hidden. They're easily killed, but each one you take out causes the room to get darker and darker until you're fumbling around in pitch blackness. The other major area this effect is used in is the path to the X-ray scope, which I skipped. Getting through there means grappling across a bed of spikes in a tunnel filled with monsters, selectively killing just the ones that won't blind you. Honestly, it's kind of a pain. What's interesting about these dark rooms is that the lighting effect doesn't play well with the X-ray scope. It won't reveal hidden passages in those areas like it does in the rest of the game. That means the Lower Norfair energy tank is one of the 2 items you cannot uncover by methodically X-raying every room. The other item you can't find with the X-ray scope is a missile tank in an area of Maridia that I skipped. It's a giant half-submerged room with a single grapple block high up near the ceiling that supports an energy tank. To get the energy tank, you either have to space jump up to it or ride the back of a giant deadly turtle. The missile pack is hidden in a block along the wall on the right-hand side of the room. The wall is smooth and there's nowhere for Samus to stand to search through the scope. It's only possible to find the missile tank by carefully luring the turtle all the way to the wall and then using the scope while standing on its back, a method that's much trickier than searching the wall manually using power bombs or the wave beam. Both of these items are placed in areas of the game well after Samus already has the X-ray scope. I guess the idea was to have those last few percentage points elude players that became too reliant on the scope, which is understandable. It's worth noting, too, that each item in Super Metroid is worth exactly 1%. There are 100 pickups total. The game came out in the early 90s, during a time when games almost never got this right. Mario World caps out at 96, and lets you know that you found everything by showing you a little star. The Donkey Kong Country games actually went over by 1% or 2, so it would show 100% before you even found everything in the game. Metroid's most famous knockoff, Symphony of the Night, clocks in at just under 100% per castle, giving an unsatisfying total of 194.7%. So to have a game that accurately measured what you found so far was kind of a big deal. And in case you're curious, Samus' maxed out load is 14 energy tanks, 4 reserve tanks, 250 missiles, and 50 each of supers and power bombs. We've now returned to Criteria by way of the Maridian shortcut, which concludes our worldwide tour of planet Zebus. Tune in next time for the thrilling conclusion of Super Speed, Super Metroid. Bye guys.